Good morning, everyone. How is your health? I hope you all are fine and fit. How is going your life? How is going your studies? Right now, due to Corona, just we have to go with this online session. So again, we are continuing this session here. Computer Science, Sem 5, Tybcom. Here, already we completed our first lesson. Now from today, we have to start our second lesson. That is form control. First lesson is over. And now we have to move on our second lesson. I already told you that this lesson is form control. When we have to prepare any Vb application, at that time we have to put different controls on our form according to our requirements. All these controls are also known as objects. Each and every control have its own properties and methods. We can see the processing according to written code, which is already written by us. Now here in Vb, we have to make the discussion regarding controls, properties, method, events, etc. In last session, I had given explanation regarding property, method and event. But how to utilize in control and how to utilize in our program, that you will have to learn here. There are different controls we can see in Vb. That is, different controls are there. Already I had given explanation regarding pointer, picture box, label, text box, frame. Again, I would like to give explanation regarding it right now. When we start Vb, at that time, we can see IDE of Vb, Integrated Development Environment, on which we can get one form over there. According to requirement of application, we can select any of the controls from the toolbox and we can utilize on form, in form. We have to write here procedure code in code window. When we have to prepare the program, at that time, some of the cases we have to write over that procedure code. We can do, when we have to set the properties, we can set it from the design window also. But some of the cases we have to set it from code window. At that time, we have to write that procedure code. That code is known as event procedure code. The main control of the Vb is form control. Form is also a control. It is known as the platform of Vb application. Rest of the all controls we can set on this form control. So first and foremost important control of the Vb is that form, and rest of the all controls we can set on form. Like this, we can prepare the Vb application by using form control and by using another important controls. To prepare this application, we can utilize one or more than one form in our application. There are different controls which we can see in Vb. That is, first one is the form. This is the default control of Vb. Form is the default control of Vb. Examiner can ask this question in your Viva. So don't forget it. Which is the default control of Vb application? At that time, you will have to give answer over there. Form is the default control of the Vb application. Right? We have to put each and every controls on this important control, I mean to say form control. And then we can prepare any of the Vb program. In each and every application, minimum one form must be necessary, which is known as the platform of Vb project. Our next control is the command button. Right? Our next control is the command button. When we have to execute certain processing, when we have to start the execution of certain processing, and when we have to stop the execution of certain processing, at that time this control, command button control, is utilized. When we have to load another form, when we have to exit from the form, and when we have to set any of the controls on the form, at that time we have to utilize this. We have to utilize this command button control. Is it clear, everyone, what I meant to say? It is used to carry out the specified action when the user chooses it. Our next control is the label control. By default, the name of command button is the command 1, command 2, command 3. By default, the name of form control is the form 1, form 2, form 3. Right? By default, this name is there. If you want to make the changes in the name of any of the controls, you can do it. Our next control is the label control. Our next control is the label control. By default, the name of label control is also there, label 1, label 2. It displays a text that the user cannot modify or interact with. When do you want to display character type of information, text type of information on form, at that time this label control is used. Here we can display only the information. Here we can only display the information. We can't add new information by using this control during the execution of the project. Right? So when we design the form, at that time, if we put over the level control, we can write it there. But at the time of execution, we can't write anything on this control. Right? Our next control is the text box control. By default, the name of this control is the text 1, text 2, text 3, etc. When do you want to write during the execution of your program by using keyboard? At that time, you will have to utilize this text box control. We can display and write text type of information by using this text box control. If you want to write more than one line by using, you can, when we see this control in depth, at that time I will give you explanation regarding each and everything over there. But right now I can't. It used to display a message and enter text. Right. Our next control is that timer control. By default, the name of this control is the timer 1, timer 2, timer 3, etc. Right. It executes the timer events at specified intervals of time. When do you want to make any particular processing during the execution according to particular time, at that time we have to utilize this timer control. Right. Our next control is the list box control. When do you want to display your information in the form of list on the form, at that time this list box control is used. Here we can select one or more than one information of the list according to our requirement. We can get these facilities over here. It displays a list of items from which a user can select one. Our next control is that combo box. Combo stands for combination. So we can say that this control is a combination of list box and text box control. In other words, we can say that the combination of list box and text box control is called combo box control. Here, we can see the information in the form of list. In fact, we can enter new information also there. Simultaneously, we can do both these works there. That's why this is the combination of list box and text box. It contains a text box and a list box both. It allows the user to select an item from the drop-down list box or to type in a selection in the text box. Our next control is the scroll bar. There are two types of scroll bar which we can see in the Vb, that is horizontal scroll bar and vertical scroll bar. Horizontal scroll bar is known as H scroll bar and vertical scroll bar is known as V scroll bar. The name of the scroll bar is the S scroll 1, S scroll 2, S scroll 3, V scroll 1, V scroll 2, V scroll 3, etc. When do you want to see the invisible part of the screen, and if the limitation of in the displayed information, at that time we have to utilize this scroll bar control. When do you want to see your whole screen over there, and if there are some limitations over there, simultaneously you can't see all the contents of simultaneously over there, at that time you will have to utilize this scroll bar control. Scroll bar control, there are two types of scroll bar. I had given the explanation regarding this. This control allows the user to select a value within the specified range of values. Right? So this control is very important controls over there. When do you want to make any processing according to particular value, at that time we have to utilize this scroll bar control. It is very useful over there. Our next control is the checkbox control. It displays a true or false, yes or no option. We can see one rectangular box before or after checkbox that we have to decide over there. According to our records, we can set the rectangular box before the option or after the option. When do you want to get your information? When do you want to get your answer in yes or no, true or false form? At that time, we have to utilize this checkbox control. If we select it, then we can see one right sign inside the rectangular box. If you don't want to select it, then again you will have to click over there. Then we can't see that right sign over there. We can see one information or one caption with a rectangular box. We can set this rectangular box before this caption or after this caption. We can select or unselect the box. If we select it, then we can see the right sign inside the rectangular box. If we unselect it, then we can't see right sign inside the rectangular box. This is on-off option, right? Our next option is that option button control. It is also known as radio button control. Option button control, which is a part of an option group, allows the user to select only one option even if it displays multiple choices. When do you want to select only one option from the given two or more than two options? At that time, we have to utilize this option button control. We can select only one option using this option button control. Right? Our next control is that frame control. Yeah, our next control is that frame control. When do you want to put interrelated control in one group, at that time frame control is used. Especially when we have to make the group of checkboxes and option buttons, at that time we have to utilize this frame control. It serves as a visual and functional container for controls. By default, the name of this control is there frame 1, frame 2, and frame 3, etc. Like this, checkbox check 1, check 2, check 3. By default, the name of option button is there option 1, option 2, option 3, etc. Our next control is the picture and image. When do you want to represent graphics type of information in your application on your form, at that time this picture and image control is used. It displays icons, bitmaps, and metaphors. It displays text or acts as a visual container for other controls. It used to display images such as icon, bitmaps, metaphors, but less capabilities than the picture box. Right? The capabilities of picture box is greater than image control. Right? Our next control is the shape control. It used to add shape, rectangle, square, or circle to a form. When do you want to set different type of shape on your form, at that time this control is utilized. The name of this control is the shape 1, shape 2, shape 3, etc. Here we can set rectangular shape, rectangle, square, ellipse, etc. Our prepared shape, we can set their different color, pattern, border, etc. according to our requirements. Our next control is the drive list box. When you want to display the information regarding your disk drive, at that time this drive list box control is used. It displays the valid disk drives and allows user to select one of them. Our next control is the directory list box. It allows the user to select the directories and paths which are displayed. When you want to display the list of your directory or folder which is located in any particular disk or drive, at that time we have to utilize this directory list box command. Our next control is the file list box. It displays a set of files from which our user can select the desired one. When we want to display the list of files from the directory which is inside disk or drive, at that time we have to utilize this file list box controls. So all these controls which we can see in toolbox. Now we have to move on our form control, our first control, that is form control. We can't complete this form control in this session. We have to continue this form control in our next session also. Form is a platform of Vb control. All the controls which is very necessary for the process that we have to put here. In each and every project, minimum one form must be necessary there. That's why we can say the form is very important control of the Vb. It is also known as container control. Form control is also known as container control. Maximum 254 controls we can set on one form. Do not forget it. Maximum 254 controls we can set on a single form. We can't set more than 254 in a one form. Is it clear, everyone? So in other words, we can say that in one form we can put there only 254 controls. It is enough for us, so do not forget it. We can utilize different properties for the form. Out of them, most of the properties we can utilize with another control also. But some of the properties which we can utilize only for the form control. So for that, form properties is very important and keep concentration over here. Do not forget it. So now we have to make the discussion regarding all the properties of the form one by one. Our first property of the form is the name. This property is used to give name for the form for easy identification. The name must be given by the user. For all the controls of the Vb, this property can be get. we can utilize this name property for most of the control of the Vb. When we have to write code at that time, this name must be used for identification of the control. Each and every control has its own default name and number, so we can easily identify it. But by using this property, we can give the new name for it. For properties, default name is like this. For form 1, form 2, form 3. For level 1, level 2, level 3. For text box, text 1, text 2, text 3. For command button, command 1, command 2, etc. I already told you when I give an explanation regarding all these controls, right? When I explained you all these controls, frame, picture box, shape, drive list box, directory list box, at that time I told you these points over there. Some of the points should be taken into consideration to give the name of the control. When we have to give the name of control, at that time some points should be taken into consideration, which are as like this. First one is there. The name of the control must be given, maximum 40 character must be given, right? The name of the control must be given in 40 character. Maximum 40 characters can be given as a name of the control, right? The first name of the given control must be alphabet. As the rest of the character, we can utilize alphabets digit also, right? But the name of the first character of the control must be alphabet, right? If you want to make the division in the name of words, at that time only underscore sign must be utilized. For example, if you want to give there the name, form or name for form, at that time you will have to utilize their basic underscore pen pay. If you want to give their GR number, then GR underscore name, etc. We have to give that appropriate name for each and every control, because when do you want to identify this, at that time you can identify it very easily and speedily. That's why it must be necessary over there. For example, if general register number do you want to enter over there, at that time you have to give that GR number. We can set this properties design time. We can't set this properties runtime. Do not forget it. Each and every properties we can set by two methods. In VB, all the properties must be set by two methods. That is, one is the design time and second one is the runtime. Right? So this property, name property, can be set only design time. We can't set this properties run time. For example, for form, we can give the FRM WEL, right? But for easy identification, we can give the form 1, form 2, etc. So this is our first property, name property. I don't think so there is any problem in it. Now, from next periods, we have to start our rest of the properties of form control. Right now, this lecture is over here. Do you have any queries regarding it? Then you will have to inform me. All of you, take care of yourself. Have a nice day. If again I'm repeating this, if do you have any queries regarding it, then you